these guys want to start, some of them want to start the Third World War. Let's start Third World War. Let's have no-fly zone. No, this is what these guys want to do. Let's start shooting down everybody's airplanes over Syria. I think maybe we have other ideas. But if they want to bomb ISIS, I said, and I've said this right from the beginning, you know it. If Russia wants to go and bomb ISIS, I agree. If Russia wants to bomb ISIS, excuse me, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hey. And they don't like ISIS any better than we do, folks. You hear the whole thing. Now, we can't fight Syria and Assad, who's not a good guy, but we're backing people to fight Assad. We have no idea. Look at Hillary Clinton, what happened with Libya. Look at that. No. Look at that. Now, look at what she did with his. You take a look at Libya. You look at what Obama's done with Iran. I mean, Iran is they're becoming a force. We gave them $150 billion. We gave them everything they wanted. We didn't win anything. We don't even get our prisoners back. And you look at that deal and you just see gross incompetence, gross stupidity. That's what it is. And now Iran is taking over Iraq. And I said this, it's funny, I never put it together. I put things together really quickly, especially when it involves economics. So I said that Iran made the single greatest deal that I've ever seen made. And I'm not talking about country. I'm just saying our side was incompetently represented. The Persians are great negotiators. And they just beat us at every front. They got everything. How about self-inspecting? How about they're going to self-inspect and they're going to say, no, we're not building nuclear there. You can take our word for it. And then on the other case, we have 24 hours. But before the 24 days starts, what happens? We have to go through a process. And the process could take a long time, right? So it's ridiculous. So we made this horrible deal. And I keep talking about what a horrible deal. Then I said, wait a minute. Because of us, and I was against this from the beginning. I'm the most militaristic person in this room. But I was against, right? No, I mean, look, I am. But you got to know what you're doing. I'd like to build up our military. I'm going to build it up so strong, so powerful, nobody's going to mess with it. Believe me. And we're going to take care of our vets. Where's my man? Where the hell is my man? Are we going to take care of our vets? We have, our vets in many cases are treated worse than illegals who come across the country. Good vet, beautiful vet, right? We're going to take good care of you. No, I don't know if you saw that over the weekend in Phoenix. This is where really a lot of bad news came out 2 years ago and a year ago. A lot of dishonesty, a lot of corruption. It's worse than ever. Just came out 2 days ago. You saw it. It was in the news. It takes so long to get a doctor. People are dying. They're dying waiting to get a doctor for something that could be a procedure or a pill or something really little, not a big deal. And they're dying. And these are our vets. This is why we're here. These are great people. We got to take care of our vets. So we're going to take care of our vets. And you are holding me to that, right? You better believe it. No, we're going to take care of our vets. But we're going to build it so big, so strong. And the funny thing is that you build your military really strong. It's really the cheapest thing you can do because you don't have to fight. Nobody wants to mess with you. Nobody's going to mess. Right now, General Orellana, when he left, he said our country is the least prepared that it's ever been. He's talking about the Army. He was on television again. And all these guys on television. You know what? If I had one of my generals, even if they're retiring, if I had one, I'd say, don't say we're weak, even if we are. Don't say we're weak. He said we're the least prepared. I think he said in history, maybe from World War II. It's almost like, what difference does it make? It's a hell of a long time. But we're the least prepared ever. And I'm saying, even if it's true, don't say it. Don't say it. Why would the enemy have? Why do we have to have that on television? And then we had the other guy saying how tough it's going to be. I see so many of these people on television. There are certain words to describe what's happening with our country. And I used to say we're incompetently led. I gave up the word incompetent because it's really not good enough. What's the word we use? Stupid. So we have to be, what's so important? We have to be unpredictable. We're too predictable. Even these guys, I get up before these debates, And some of these, oh, and by the way, debates, speaking of it, okay, look at it. See the small Trump on top? That's just because it's my paper, I don't know. But on the bottom, they have Make America Great Again, GOP debate. Who won in the polls? These are all separate polls. No, it's true. Listen to this. Drudge, who's an incredible guy, Drudge, 46%. Now, you got to understand, again, 15, 16 people, 46%. Time magazine, other than I was on the cover 4 weeks ago, they do nothing for me, believe me. Because I should have been Man of the Year, but that's okay. Right? Well, everyone says that. I don't say it. I said they'll never pick me because I'm not establishment. They thank you. I'll be your Man of the Year. Well, you know, I really want to be Man of the Year in a year from now, a couple of years from now, when we want to straighten this mess out and then let them put me. Okay? So, Time Magazine, 49. Slate, 51. Syracuse.com, 49. U.S. News and World Report, 69%. PBS, Public Broadcasting. I mean, you know, people think, oh, these polls, because they're online, they got to do them immediately, right? They think I'm sitting by a phone calling in. They're getting 100,000 calls. I'm not making that many calls. I'm not going to spend that much money. It's not worth it. So anyway, PBS, 69% said I won the debate, right? Washington Times, 62%. CBS, 59%. Fox 5 Las Vegas, 62%. And NewJersey.com, 49%. Think of it. Think of it. I mean, and then I go home and I watch these very, very dishonest people. Well, Trump was okay in the debate. He was okay. Not his best night. Not his best night. I said, I thought I did great. You know, how about Bush, where he makes a commercial? You know, he's trying to show he's tough, right? Tough. He's trying to show you his energy. I said, you're doing better. You keep going. Another 20 years, you'll be okay. No, he's trying to show you. So he makes a commercial about me. He's spending millions and millions of dollars, okay? And he has me standing there, and he's doing all the talking. Because when I'm ready to talk, where every time I talked, he got killed. But where I'm ready to talk, they don't have me talking. So he goes, and you will do this, and you will do that, and Donald Trump. And I'm saying, well, do I ever get to talk? So they just have me standing there like this. Do you remember when I talked? I said, wait a minute. I'm at 42%. You're at 2%. You started off over here next to me. Now you're falling off the end of the stage. No, it's true. It's true. No, but think of it. Think of how dishonest. That's actually dishonest advertising. How do you do a commercial where you're talking, but he cuts off your talk? I mean, where everybody said I won the debate. And by the way, you know who last in the debate came out? I think it was Bush. He came in last, or either Bush or Kasich. I'm not sure which one. But one of them came out low. I think it was Bush. He came out with 1%. Who the hell voted for him? It was his family. His family was. No, but, and I don't think he's a bad person. I really don't. But we can't go by this anymore. We gotta get this done. We need people that really know what the hell they're doing. We need people that are going to take back our jobs from China, from Mexico, from Japan, from Vietnam. We need it. But because I turned on, I'm coming up today and I see the television and this ad is over and over and over again. I keep looking. I don't even watch it myself. I always watch things when I'm on, right? I can't even watch it anymore. I just say, oh, turn it off. It's so boring. But again, he's saying, and I don't get a chance to answer. So what's the purpose of an ad like that? Now, most people saw the debate, right? So you know what my answer is. So I think it has no impact. I don't know. You know, spend 10 million or 18 million or something on ads. It's going to be very interesting what's happening. Again, get out and vote. Here's another one. So the press, you know how I feel. They're very dishonest people. They're very bad people. Some are fine, but I mean, for the most part, these are really sleazebags. These are bad people. No, they're bad. They're bad. I go to stadiums. We fill up stadiums, and I tell the cameras to turn the cameras. Right? They won't turn the cameras. They won't turn them. They don't show how many people. And all the time, I say it. My wife, she said, were there many people there tonight? I said, well, did you watch? Yeah, it was live. I said, they didn't show it again? And I tell them, turn the camera. They won't do it. But if there's a protester, one protester will stand up in a corner of the room or in a corner of a stadium. And that's the only time. I actually like protesters because the only time you see how many people are there is when there's a protester. It's true. No. They focus on my face, which I don't like. I don't like that. I want them to see the crowd. I like the crowd better than my face. I mean, what can I tell you, right? I love you too, darling. Thank you. So I want to tell you, so we had an interesting thing because you have a very dishonest newspaper up here. It's also a failing newspaper. It's going down the tubers. I remember when this was a big paper. Look at the size of this thing. If they cut it down anymore, you won't be able to find it. It looks like the things, you know, when you go to the grocery store where they give you a little handout. What do they call them? Coupons. So this guy, his name's Joe McQuaid. No, he's a lowlife, I'm telling you. Here's what happens. I'll tell you what happens. So I thought he's useless. I thought he was fine. I thought he was an aggressive guy. He'd call me. He'd talk to me. He'd want me to come up and make a speech in New Hampshire. I'd do it. He asked me to help James Foley, which I liked very much. I gave him a big contribution to his parents. His parents are great people. He asked me to speak at that event. I spoke at that event. He asked me to do many, many things. He'd go through a whole litany of things. Then he said, would you do me a big favor? Would you come to, I'm going to have a debate. Now, I never debated before, folks. I never did this. You know, I'm a job producer. I built jobs. I built a great company. And if I didn't do a great company, I wouldn't be talking to you. But I'm not a debater. That's why I'm so impressed that I'm winning all these debates. But a lot of it's common sense. I mean, let's face it, right? But I'm a job producer. I'll be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. That I can tell you. But this guy, McQuaid, first he wants ads. I say, oh, ads. And I go and I see he's doing very badly. He tells me the paper's doing terribly, which it is. It's doing very badly. He's going to move out of his space or something because the building is like an empty building. And it's doing, but I don't care about that stuff. And then he calls me up a fairly short time ago and he said, would you do me a favor? What? Because I have 10 million between Facebook and Twitter. More than 10 million people. I have a big following, to put it mildly. He said, could you do me a favor? Chris Christie is not on the big stage. Could you tweet that he should be? Now think of it. This is Now he may try and deny it, but it's awfully tough. I didn't put it there for my health. Go check out. I said, do you really want me to do that? I mean, it sounds a little bit strange for me to be saying, you're supposed to get on there by yourself, right? He said, well, I'd consider it a favor. I tweet. It would be nice to have Chris Christie on the stage. You know, I felt like a little weird. People call me saying, what'd you do that for? I said, Joe McQuaid from the, I figured I'll get some better treatment, right? Then he asked me for different things, and then he asks me, he said, would you play a round of golf with me up in New Hampshire at his course? He's a member of a course. So I said, I can't take that much time, Joe. I'm not like President Obama. The guy's out forever. No, I just can't take that much time. I said, Joe, I can't spend a whole day playing golf. I just can't do it. He said, would you then come and have lunch with me at this club? Nice club. And very nice. I said, oh, all right. So I come up, I made a speech, I was with the group, so it wasn't so bad. I then go over, we have lunch, and I meet, he's, riding me all over the place. He's not riding, he's walking me all over the place, saying hello to different people. This is Trump, this is Trump. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying he's having a good time, right? I'm sitting there, I order a hamburger. This is all about a hamburger. I order a hamburger. I think he paid for the meal, too. He said, oh, I saw him on television. He said, well, he looked like he didn't know what hit him. Because I believe in hitting back. Don't you think so? Now, look at this sleazebag. With all of the things I do. But here's the big thing. So he's doing a debate, or as he calls it, a forum. And it's like the night before Fox. And the Fox thing, everybody's talking about it all over the world for months. And it's becoming bigger and bigger. It didn't used to be big, and then when I got involved, it became big. Okay, right? I mean, Variety, all the Hollywood things. They said the Trump debate. They called it the Trump. Okay. So, number one, I didn't really want to come up here. But I was the only one. I said, Joe, I can't do it. I'm not doing it. I wrote him a note. I said, I'm not doing it. I don't feel good about doing it. I don't know how it pertains. And actually, it was a disaster. Very few people went, and it got very, very, very low ratings. Almost nobody watched. And Bush had a bad night. I'm not knocking him but he had a horrible night. He shouldn't have done the debate. It was very bad for him. But they did it because the union leader, they figure, has some power. It used to have power when it was run by the Loeb family. They did a great job. But it's lost its power, I think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has more power than I think. But I think, I watch this guy, and honestly, he's a loser. So listen. So he wants me to come up and do the debate. And I said, Joe, I really don't think it's appropriate. And I speak to the people at Fox. How would you feel if I went and did a debate? They weren't exactly thrilled because they want to have the big first debate. They don't want to have me debating. And anyway, I didn't do it. I think I was the only one. Some did it by satellite. I think I was the only. They were down senators. They were down. They thought they were going to do well in the run. Hasn't worked out that way for them either. But they did by satellite. And it was over. It was done. Nobody cared. And it was very. I looked at the seats. There were a lot of empty seats in the auditorium. And it was a disaster, okay? I should get credit for that. Vision. They call that vision, okay? I'm the only one that didn't do it. They call it vision. Just like vision was don't go into Iraq. Even though you're strong on the military, don't go into Iraq. You destabilize the Middle East. Vision was writing about Osama bin Laden in my book in 2000. Nobody ever heard of Osama. I wrote about Osama bin Laden. Joe Scarborough, a great host in the morning, Morning Joe, right? He said, wait a minute, Trump wrote about Osama bin Laden 2 years before the World Trade Center came down. Somebody should have gone out and gotten him. And I wrote about him because I would see him, and I would read about him, and he was a very threatening guy. I said, we got to take this guy out. But I wrote about him. That's what you need, okay? But I should get credit for not doing the debate. So I didn't do the debate. He was really furious. He was very, very angry. And I wrote him a nice letter afterwards. I said, sorry, I just can't. And it probably means you won't endorse me, but I can't do it. Okay, but in the meantime, I've done all these things. I made big contributions to charity. I came up, I made speeches with him. I thought I got along with him fine. And then what happens? So tell me what happens. He endorses Christie, and that was okay. And I figured that was going to happen because when he called me up a couple of months ago to see if I can get Christie onto the main stage, I said, I think he's going to endorse Christie, right? Why would he be doing that? And the first time I met with him, he said, I'll never endorse Christie. And the reason he said that, he hated that Christie embraced Obama so strongly before the election, right before the election. I happen to think, I don't know if it cost him the election, but it cost him a lot of votes. And there are many people that think that endorsement, when Obama went to New Jersey, that endorsement was responsible for the loss of the Republican Party in Romney. I mean, it was certainly not good. In fact, when I saw it, right, I said, I think he's going to vote for Obama. I actually called a friend of mine who's involved with him. I said, is he voting for Obama? I mean, honestly, it was terrible. It was where they had the flood, they had the hurricane, and Obama went to New Jersey, and it was like, he was like a little child, Christie. It was like he was so, right? Give me a hand. No, but he was so, only in New Hampshire could this happen. Only in New Hampshire. So anyway, but it's called spirit, by the way, and you're okay, okay? I didn't knock you for that. I think it's very cool. But, so I said, he told me, he said, that was terrible, and I came out, I told my people, and this is a long time ago when I first met Joe McCabe, I think the first time, McQuaid, I said, I really think that, the one person he's not going to endorse is Christie because he couldn't stand the fact that he did this. Anyway, so what he did is he endorsed Christie, and that's fine, I mean, you can do it, but he doesn't understand. The Star-Ledger, which is the big paper in New Jersey, said he must have made a mistake. There must be something wrong. Nobody called us. You've had tremendous downgrades, either 9 or 11 downgrades of the bonds. It's number 50 out of 50 in terms of economic development and in terms of the economy. It's like one of the worst in the country for jobs. It's a disaster. I have property in New Jersey. The taxes are through the roof. They're through the roof. And you go through it. So you have Obama. I don't call it a hug. I call it a hug mentally. It was unbelievable. He was like a little boy. Oh, I'm with the president. Remember, he flew in the helicopter, and he was all excited to be in the helicopter. I said, I would have put you in my helicopter. It's much nicer. It's true. No, I thought it was a terrible thing. Okay, so what else happened? The George Washington Bridge. Now, he's got 3 or 4 people. They're with him every day. A lot of you people, you have companies, you have friends, and you're with the friends every day, right? And you have breakfast. He would have lunch or breakfast with them all the time, and dinner, with this little group of, his cabinet. Now, the George Washington Bridge is the largest in the United States, and it's the most traveled on bridge, I believe, in the United States, right? They wanted, as retribution for the mayor of Fort Lee, New Jersey, they wanted to close it. I don't know why, because nobody's going to think about the mayor of Fort Lee. Nobody even knows it's in Fort Lee. They're going to think about the governor of New Jersey. He's doing a bad job. But they closed the bridge. Now, you just put yourself in a common sense mode. You are with your cabinet. You're with them all the time. They're closing the biggest bridge in the United States, most traveled on bridge, one of them in the world, and most traveled on in the United States. You're doing that, and you're not telling the governor. And you're with him all the time. You're not saying, Governor, by the way, sir, we're closing the George Washington Bridge tonight. No, no, you're having lunch and you don't happen to bring it up. Does anybody believe that, honestly? Is there 1%? No, right? No. Is there 1% chance? And I'm not, you know, I've been friends with Christie, but when McQuaid, who's really Christie's lapdog, I will tell you, that's all it is. First of all, I know you're happy he's up here because he's up here. But you know, the people in New Jersey want to throw him out of office. They say, why isn't he running New Jersey? We're a disaster state. We're going to hell. And our governor's up in New Hampshire every single day having town hall meetings. He ought to be doing it in New Jersey, in all fairness, okay? I mean, we love New Hampshire, but he shouldn't be up here all the time. He's supposed to be running the state. So what happens is McQuaid endorses Christie. I thought that was a really strange endorsement because, again, 11 or 9 out of 9 downgrades. The worst, the whole thing. And I think that it's an incredible circumstance. So that was okay too. But the Star-Ledger wrote a whole big thing about how could they possibly do it, and they said he's one of the worst governors in the history of the state. How could they possibly do this endorsement? How could they possibly do it? They didn't understand it. And they said they never even called us. You know, normally you'd call the big newspaper, that's the big newspaper in New Jersey, and they'd say, what do you think? Well, it was, I don't know, strange thing. Okay, so what happens is the following. I figured that's okay, but I've been really nice to him. So I get killed. I get absolutely killed. Today this guy writes a front page story about me. A lot of it, what he said is really good. I'm tough, and I'm tough, and I am tough. And you know, we need a little toughness now. But we need a little toughness. But this dying, it's a dying paper, and again, this was a big power here years ago. Although, think of this. In 36 years, since 1980, okay, think of that. Since 1980, they've picked one president. It was Ronald Reagan. They endorsed one guy who ran and won for president. So they're one out of a 36-year period, right? They've got one, and they're not going to win this time, that I can tell you, okay? I mean, one thing I'll say, they didn't pick the guy who's going to win, because that would have been easy. We're going to win, right? But no, I respect that. No, I respect that. So I just to finish this story. Hello. Okay, thank you. USA, 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 USA. You know, it's always a single, and whenever that happens, they make that the big story. Can you imagine with all these people? You know, I tell the story. The first couple of times, I was rough. Get him out of here. I want him out of here. Get him. And the next day, they said, Trump was brutal and horrible. He's a horrible human being. The next time it happened, right? No. The next time it happened, I said, be nice, be really nice. Don't hurt him. Please don't hurt him. Be nice. The next day they said, Trump is a much weaker person than we thought. I can't win. So you're too tough or you're too whatever. But I will just tell you. So I said, there's no way, because I did so much for this guy, a sleazebag. There's no way he'll say badly about me because I've, you know, I mean, he actually told a big announcer that Trump is a wonderful guy. Can you believe it? Then he writes this stuff. So he's controlled, and I just have to tell you, it's your paper. It's not a good paper. You know it's dying. I don't think it's going to be in business more than 2 years. He told me they got to move out of their building and the whole thing. They let John and some other guys go that are fantastic people and fantastic writers. But I just want to tell you, I think it's a very disloyal act when you're nice to a person. If he endorsed Christie, I don't care. I mean, that's up to him. But you don't go and try and hurt somebody that's been helping you and that really has done a good job, okay? You don't do that. So here, you can have it, darling. That's all it's worth. Piece of garbage. Okay. Okay. So we are going to make our country strong. We're going to make it great. We're going to make it safe. Now, what has happened, and it's interesting because I had a big boost in the polls. I was at 28. Now I'm at 39 in the CNN, and I'm at 42 in Morning Consult and others. And what happened is Paris. What happened is California, where these radicalized people went wild. And you know what I did? I said, we have to find out what's going on, folks. We have to find out what's going on. There's too much hatred. There's too much anger. There's too much killing. We have to find out what's going on. I mean, we can continue to be nice and stupid and just soft, and, you know, our country's going to go to hell. I mean, we have these people coming in now from Syria where nobody knows anything about them. They're young. They're strong, mostly men. You look at this migration. It looks like an army. I mean, you don't see many women. You don't see many children. You look at the men. They're not as strong as you, by the way. You look stronger. It's good. But you look at these men. They're strong, fit. They look physically fit. You actually say, why aren't they back home fighting for their country? You know, what are they doing? So we're bringing them in. And then you saw they have cell phones, some of them. Many of them have cell phones, and they have the ISIS flag on it. Okay? They have, I don't know if you saw that one. And then you saw where they've come up with a counterfeiting of our passports. Did you see that? Where they actually have our passports and they have a printing machine now. I mean, these are not stupid people. We need smart people. We need tough, but we need smart. Tough is no good. We need tough. We need smart. We need really smart, because these are not stupid people. So now they have our passport. They make our passports. Isn't that nice of them, ISIS? And then we take people in, and we know sometimes they're with ISIS, and they come back, and they're fighting for ISIS, trying to kill friends of ours, kill us, because eventually they're just going to say, what do I have to go away for? Let's just do it at home. And when you think about it, we let them back into the country. Now, we know they're ISIS. Why are we letting them back in? I got to tell you, one of the first things I'm doing, they're not coming back in. They go out, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. So when I started off, my campaign was very much about economic development, and we're going to stop with China, who is just absolutely ripping us, I have to say that, just ripping. Like, we have a trade imbalance. We have a deficit with China of almost $500 billion a year, a deficit. In other words, $500 billion, and then I hear people say free trade. I'm a free trader. But I hear people say, oh, no, but you want free. Yeah, I want free trade, but I want to be like smart trade. Like, let's break even. I'll even take breaking even. But I don't want to lose $505 billion a year for the privilege of getting ripped off by China. I don't want that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. With Japan, you know, they send us their cards. We have all, by the way, we have all the cards. We have all the cards. But we have people that don't have any idea about negotiation, or they're bought off by their lobbyists and by the special interests. Because I actually said, nobody can be that incompetent. You know, some of these deals we make, folks, it's not because they're incompetent. Actually, they're very competent for themselves. But they're not really incompetent. They are lobbyists. They're special interests. When somebody gives Hillary, you know, $10 million and $5 million and $2 million, and they're on Wall Street, and, you know, she's trying to go back a little bit. She's trying to go to the left a little bit because she's got this whack job, this wacko named Bernie Sanders. He was telling people, well, Trump and I have some of the same people. I don't think there's too many Bernie Sanders people here. Well, we have a few different, although he does agree that we're getting ripped off in trade. That's one thing I'll say. The one thing I agree with, he's very strong. You know, he feels we're getting ripped. The problem is he can't do anything about the rip-off. He won't be able to do anything. I'm really good at that stuff. That's what I do. But, you know, the one big thing, he wants to double and triple your taxes and give everybody everything free, and you're going to pay for it. Your taxes are going through the roof. Can't do it. You can't do it. And I'm cutting your taxes down very, very low. You saw my tax plan. Cutting it way down. We're cutting business taxes down. We're cutting all of them down. So I can't imagine this guy has a chance. But I heard yesterday he's trying to get some of my people. And I said, I don't know, is he talking about the same people that I'm talking about? I don't think so. So anyway, but he wants to do massive, massive, massive tax increases, and people don't talk about that. And Hillary Clinton doesn't talk about it. And the reason I'm talking about it, I think, and I'm saying this, and I really mean it. She does not mean it when she talks about Trump. It was so funny today where they said, actually, I think, maybe she's not wanting Trump so badly. But I will tell you, and I'm telling you this very strongly. First of all, she has committed a criminal act. A criminal act. What she did with the emails is criminal, according to every single person that I've met that knows this stuff. And not just in one, and Benghazi also, although Benghazi was different. Benghazi, she was too lazy to answer phone calls. Remember her commercial about the phone ringing at night? Guess what? She didn't answer it. She didn't answer it. Did you see where the ambassador sent 700 or 500 calls in, emails, everything? And yet she spoke to a friend many times. But they saw they were in trouble. And many, many emails were coming, and she never even responded. And remember that commercial. It was a pretty famous commercial. Who do you trust at night? Obviously, they didn't trust her because Obama, her. Can I say the word? Obama. I won't say. By the way, that word, that's a common word in New York, and it means to be beaten badly. I won't give the press any more fun with it. And by the way, also, NPR, okay, National Public Radio, one of the most revered MCs, political people, one of the most revered, used it. And he used the exact same word, even the ED at the end. For him, it was okay. For Trump, it's horrible. But what it means is to be beaten badly. I mean, that's what it means. I guess it has other meanings, but it means, and what I meant, is to be beaten badly. I won't use it again today. We don't want to make that the story. We want to make other things the story. But, if you look at what's going on and you see what's happening, we have all of the power economically. We have tremendous power because China, remember this, it's one of the greatest thefts in the history of the world, what China has done to our country. One of the greatest thefts. If you look at what Mexico's doing to our country, it's a mini version of what China does. I mean, and you people know better because you know all the jobs that went down to Mexico. You know practically better than anybody because they came right out of New Hampshire, they came out of New England. And you have suffered because of crazy policies. And it doesn't help us. So with Mexico, we have the wall, we have the border, we're going to do everything right. They're going to respect us more by doing it. They are going to respect us more by doing what we're going to do. I tell the story with Ford. Does everybody know the Ford story? The Ford story. And just simple, they're going to build, he just said it again. I mean, it's such a great story because it's so simple. But Ford's going to spend $2.5 billion building a plant in Mexico. So that means they're going to close different plants, mostly in Michigan, I guess. And how does this help us? And then we take their cars, trucks, and parts, no tax, no nothing, like people that don't know what they're doing. They just drive them. Next thing, they're going to have the illegals drive them right across the border. No, they'll have it. Might as well. If Hillary gets in, that's what's going to happen. Ford will build its plant, and the illegals will drive the cars right in, and they'll probably give them the car, too. Might as well have the car. They won't give them, they won't give them to our vets, but they'll give them to the illegals, right? So, So I said, that's not going to happen. And I tell the story. I'm just doing it abbreviated because a lot of you heard it, but a lot of people didn't hear it. But it's so good. $2.5 billion Ford spending. And they're doing it, they're spending it in Mexico. By the way, Nabisco now is closing its big plant in Chicago, and they're moving it to Mexico. Why? We're never going to have an Oreo, right? No more Oreos for Trump. No, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. That's good in a lot of different ways. But, so with Ford, so they're going to do it. They're going to send their cars. Now, here's what happens. When Hillary gets called, and she knows, I mean, these aren't stupid people. She knows it's no good for our country. But her lobbyists and her special interests are all getting paid by different companies, including Ford and various others. And they're going to say, you can't, the super PACs, the crooked super PACs. How crooked are those super PACs? Man, they are bad news. They are so crooked. They're bad news. We had super PACs set up for Trump. I didn't even know who the hell the people were. You'd see people on television. One of them did the Art of the Deal PAC. Two nice-looking young guys. I saw them on Fox. They were being interviewed. They look, well, I don't know what they're going to do with the money. People are going to send them money. I have no idea what they're going to do. I mean, some of the candidates have their super PACs now running their campaigns. They've given up. But the super PACs are running, and I guess it's not correct. They're not supposed to be doing it. I guess you could say it's illegal, but you're not supposed to be doing it. But these super PACs are out of control. So with Ford, Ford has this plant, and Hillary, let's say, finds out, and she says, well, I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want to. And then she'll be called by one of her donors, by a special interest or by a lobbyist, and they'll say, we gave you $5 million. You can't do that. That would be very disloyal, et cetera, et cetera. And bottom line is they will fold 100%, like 100%. With me, I don't take any of their money. I have turned down so much money. It sickens me to think of it, because my whole life, no. My whole life has been taking money. That's what I do. We're business people. We take money. Take. Some people said, he plays too tough a game. We need somebody who's going to play. Yeah, I play tough. We play. We do it. It's a game. And, at a certain point, and now I want to put that, whatever that is, I want to put it to use so that we get rid of some of the 19 trillion, which, by the way, it's going to 21 trillion. And did you see what was passed 2 weeks ago? All right? It won't happen. Here we are, okay, so we're disappointed in Democrats. I'm more disappointed in the Republicans, that the Republicans let that get passed. The visas, the Syrians, all funded. Everything, the border coming through, everything is funded. Everything is funded. That is one of the most disgraceful things I've seen. And it took, 24 hours? It was like done. These Republicans, they were going to go down. I'm a Republican. I'm a conservative. And some of them don't like me because I tell the truth. They were going to go down to Washington, and they're going to raise their hand against Obamacare. They didn't do it. They were going to kill Obamacare. They didn't do it. You even had a judge that should have done it, Judge Roberts. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. He had 2 chances to do it. First time, 100%. Second time, would have made it so it would have gone fast. It's going to go anyway. Here's the good news. It's going anyway. But it's going to be no, it's going. It's going. The beautiful thing about if I run and if I win, so I run, and I said this before I said, if I run and if I win, I'll be able to undo these horrible rules and regulations that have been crippling our businesses. You see, I hope so, because I'm working my ass off. This guy, this beautiful young guy, he's not going to be voting for another 10 years, but I'll tell you what. I appreciate it. He's shouting, make America great again. I appreciate it. No, but I am working. I'm working really hard. And frankly, I'm doing it because I've always had a talent at getting things good. And I've had a talent at money. And we need it. We have to have a talent. And I made the statement about a month ago. And I said, we want to make our country rich again. And then we're going to make it great again. And a woman came up and she said, Mr. Trump, that sounds very crude to say. I said, do me a favor. It's not crude. We got to make it rich. We're a debtor nation right now. We're a third world nation. If you look at our school system, we're in 28th position. We spend the most per student by far. Second is so far behind us. And we're number 28 in the world in schools, okay? And by the way, Common Core, gone. Common Core is gone. Second Amendment, yes, we're keeping Second Amendment. Second Amendment. Obama's looking to do, in my opinion, an executive order on the Second Amendment. I think he's looking because he can't get the support. And I think that's going to be a problem. That could be a tough one for him. I think he's going to try and do some kind of an executive order on the Second Amendment just based on what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing. And I'll tell you what. That's going to be a rough one because there's nobody more impassioned than the people that believe strongly in the Second Amendment. Tell you about the Second Amendment. If in California or in Paris, frankly, I mean, we're not talking Second Amendment in Paris, but when these animals came in and they started shooting in the various places in Paris, if we had a couple of people like you and a couple of people, 2 or 3, you guys definitely, you guys, they wouldn't have gotten off the first shot. This guy, they wouldn't have gotten off the first shot. But you know what? There was no Paris and France have the toughest gun laws in the world, they say. Nobody has guns except the bad guys, okay? So they walked in with AK-47s. They walk in with all this stuff, and, you know, they have it. They bring it in. It's not so hard to get it in if you don't mind breaking the law. They were the only ones with any weapons, and they had big weapons, powerful weapons. I mean, 130 people dead, many more are going to die. You know, you have people that are hanging by a thread in hospitals. And they were just shooting people randomly. And then the press calls the guy, the head guy with the dirty hat, calls him a mastermind. And I've been hitting them so hard. I said, don't call him a mastermind, because they are playing the Internet better than we do. You know, we invented the Internet. They play it better than we do. They radicalize people over the Internet. So I said to him, I said, look, don't call the press. Don't call him a mastermind. And I've been saying that for 3 weeks, and I don't hear it anymore. I said, he's a low-class sleazebag who happens to be dead right now. And I call him the guy with the dirty hat, okay? Because that's a good expression. And they go in, and they shoot people. Now, if one of you folks had a gun strapped to your waist or put on your ankle, strapped out to your ankle, and you could say, oh, look at that, that's not good, you, boom, 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 and they received a little fire, would have been people hurt, but it would have been a very small number by comparison. And I know one thing, they would be gone. They would be gone. But we don't have that. And when you think about it, same thing in California. They walk into a room with no guns, no anything, innocent people. They were friends. These people threw them like an anniversary party or something. I mean, there's a sickness going. There is a sickness going. This radicalization is there's a real sickness. Now, I say it's a sickness. Somebody would say, that's not nice. It's kind of, folks, there's something wrong. We got to find out what's going wrong. There's something really bad happening. There's something bad. So they go in, they shoot all those people, 14, 16 people dead, others going to die, and they shoot them. Now, if a couple of people had guns in that room, it wouldn't have been that way. It wouldn't have been that way. Even you don't need to have everybody. If a few of the people had guns, it wouldn't have been that way. And you could say it for how about the Army base where the 6 soldiers were killed? And 2 of them were like world-class, I mean, these were top-of-the-line soldiers. One of them was a world-class marksman. And they had a gun-free zone on a military base. You believe this? First thing I'll do, we're going to take care of our vets. We're going to take care of our police, because our police are being mistreated terribly. They're being mistreated terribly. And we are going to end gun-free zones on military bases, folks. They're going to end. That's going to end. That's going to end day one. That'll end day one. That's an executive order if I ever saw one. That's going to end day one. So when I'm with friends from New York, liberal, you know, they say, oh, well, we're against guns. Okay. Well, and then I go into Paris. I said, okay, let's assume that we're in Paris and they're shooting us and everybody's standing there like, oh, please. And they're saying, you over here, boom. You over, this is what was happening. Come over here, boom, 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 boom. Nobody could do anything. Nobody could do anything. They were helpless. It was horrible. When you hear the stories, it was horrible. I explained that to these guys, these people that want to knock out the Second Amendment. They lose the debate so badly that they're embarrassed. They don't even want to talk. If it's in front of people, they don't even want to talk about it anymore. Well, let's go to a different subject. They lose. And the next day I said, so have you changed your mind? No. They don't change their mind. And I'm not even saying they're bad people. There's something going on there. There's something wrong. But we are going to have a strong Second Amendment. We are going to keep it. We're not going to let them play with the bullets. You know, they want to take away the bullets. One of the concepts, you know, because it doesn't necessarily talk about bullets, so they want to take away your ammunition. We're going to have a strong Second Amendment. We're going to have it. And it's better for the country. It's strong. It's good. I have 2 young sons. They're hunters. They've been in the NRA for so long. So am I, but they've been in for so long. And you know, Hillary wants to take away your guns. That is such a bad thing. She wants to take away your guns, folks. And I'll tell you what, you know, they say the Republicans have a structural problem, and we do. It's harder for a Republican to win. We have certain structural problems. But I'll tell you what, when you talk about the guns, when you talk about the Common Core, when you talk about different things that we have some big advantages over them. We really have some big, big advantages. But the guns are going to be safe. Another thing that's going to be safe is this great state. So I want to tell you, and as I said, it's going to be, and I'm telling you, it's going to be, and you know what's going on, and it's going in lots of circles where they want to, and I don't know why, but they want to do something bad to New Hampshire. It's not going to happen if I win. That I can tell you. I give you my word. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So I just want to finish by saying that we're going to be strong, we're going to be smart, but we have to be unpredictable. So I'll go to these debates, and I'll have some of these people. Some are excellent, and some are real sleaze. You know the ones I'm talking about. Real sleaze. Mr. Trump, what do you think of this and that and that and that? I said, that's not like a question. That's a statement. We know who they are. But you know what? I say to them, and I say it strongly, I say, we have to be unpredictable. They're saying, what would you do with ISIS? I hated to say that I was going to bomb the hell out of the oil. But I had to say it eventually. That's one problem. I had to say it. And now people are saying, I've been saying it for years, but I don't want to say everything. I want to be unpredictable. I want to be General Patton. I want to be General Douglas MacArthur. We want to go in. We don't want them to know what the hell we're doing. We have to go in, and a lot of people love it when I say that. You know, it's the kind of thing. It's the kind of thing. And then the MCs are going to announce. They're going to say, well, he didn't know that. I do know. I know so much. Remember, Osama bin Laden in my book. Remember, bomb the oil. For years I've been saying it. But I said bomb it and keep it. Okay? There's a difference. Because I wanted to give a lot of the money to the vets and the families of the vets that were killed. And to the wounded warriors. I mean, these are the greatest people. The way they go through life and a big smile on their face. I wanted to give plenty. And we'd have so much left. We'd have so much, okay? We'd have so much. But I wanted to keep it. But look, we're going to do something. I'm so happy I did this. I really was torn. I said to my wife on June, thank you, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But I said to my wife, I said, boy, and in Trump Tower, I went down the famous escalator where she was elegant and I was waving. And it's a pretty famous scene now. And we went in, and right from day one, we hit it on the head. And we took a lot of heat and a lot of abuse, and everyone's now coming back. Same thing with the Muslim situation. I took a lot of heat, 2-3 days of heat. Then people saying, you know, maybe he's right. Now they're all talking about it. Somebody had to bring it up. And I'll tell you what, if I didn't bring it up, it would have never been brought up, okay? And we have Muslims, they're wonderful. We have wonderful people. But there's something going on there. They have to turn in. Like, for instance, these people in California. People knew he had bombs all over the floor. People knew it. Why didn't they turn them in? You got to turn them in. Because it's their culture. They're around each other. They see each other. They know what's going on. You got to turn them in. You can't have people dying. You can't let this happen. So I brought that up. When I brought in about illegal immigration, you wouldn't even have that as a topic if I didn't bring it in. Nobody was even talking about it. And it turns out to be a very big topic. So I just finished by saying this. It's so important that on February 8th, 9th, what you should do on February 8th, stand there. Because you know what? You're going to have tremendous numbers at those polls. But it's so important that you get there early, and on February 9th, you get in and vote. It's so important because, you know, otherwise it's just all a big waste of time. I got a call from one of the most prominent reporters and very highly respected, and he said to me, who I don't know, but he's one of the most prominent, one of the most respected in the world, actually. And I took his call, and he said, how does it feel? I said, how does what feel? He said, what you've done, nobody else has ever done in the history of politics in this country. And even the other day, CNN said #1 story, Trump. NBC said #1 story, Trump. So many of them, #1 story, Trump, Trump, Trump. Okay, that's fine. But you know what? He said, how does it feel? And I said, I don't know what you mean. He said, what you've done. I said, look, let me just tell you a little secret. What I've done doesn't mean anything if I don't win. It doesn't, to me, it really doesn't. They said no, and he said, no, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. What you've done is you've changed the whole dialogue. You've changed everything. You've changed politics as we know it, and I want to know how you feel. I say, I will let you know after I win, because honestly, unless I win, it doesn't mean a damn thing to me. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. So on the 9th. It's like when I talk to the folks in Iowa, I think you're going to have a tremendous success in Iowa. Meaning, and I say you, because we're all together. It's not me, we're all together. This is a movement, folks. This is a movement. You'll get one of these other candidates up here, and they'll have 30 people, 40 people, 28 people. It's true. I see it. We had a thing where we had 4,500 people in New Hampshire, and Bush was down the road, meaning like 30 miles down the road. You know, it's New Hampshire, it's a long way. But 30 miles down the road, and he had 109 people. We had 4,500 people. This is a movement. This is an unbelievable thing is happening. I don't even use the term silent majority because they're really a noisy group of people. They want to... It's true. It's true. So, you know, I've been saying, and to a large extent this is true, the American dream is dead. But I'm going to make it bigger and stronger, more powerful, more beautiful than ever. More beautiful than ever. Remember. And just to finish off, we are going to make America great again. I love you. I love you. Thank you, everybody. I love you. Get out and vote the 9th. Thanks.